Well, everything seemed to work well on the little part one video. Reloaded the software that YouTube has to upload software. It looked like this one worked fine, so hopefully I can get the rest of them done in short order. So our next slide deals with learning domains. This is probably the most difficult part of this whole chapter right here, but research that's done on learning is pretty much focused on three different areas of how people learn. And the first is the cognitive domain. That deals with how our brains process information, how we learn sequential things, step by step by step, from experience, from a book, from reading, doing math, operating in those kinds of areas, and our brains process that information. Now, we have a lot of cognitive stuff, math, reading, science, facts, all kind of what we would sometimes maybe call book knowledge that students need to know in order to pass our courses. But that focuses there in the cognitive area. The affective domain deals more with things that deal with values. What's important to somebody? I guess the best example that I can give you with that is work ethic. We can have some of the smartest students that make A's on our tests, but if they don't show up for work, or they're always late for work, what kind of workers will they be? And I hear from a lot of teachers at our school and from other schools how a lot of students just don't want to go to class, and how from employers that a lot of workers don't show up. I have one of my sisters that is in a position with a local school board where she oversees 40-50 people, and her biggest problem is getting people to go to work. They're always out for some reason or another. You know, what separates people? Those who want to go to work, believe that they're there, will be there day in, day out, go to work sick, compared to people who are able-bodied but just don't feel the need. And that's one of the kind of things that we're talking about here. People's values, their ethics, and that kind of is in the affective domain, and you and I do teach that maybe indirectly, but it's a very, very important part of our of what it is you and I do. And finally, the psychomotor domain, where we're dealing with physical things, with our hands, with our eyes, where we're doing things. Best example I can give you is welding, where you have to focus to lay that bead down. You have to have the right technique to get it done, and learn that technique over and over and over again, and practice it so you get proficient with it. It's just something that's drilled into your body. That becomes second nature to you after it's done. But it comes from the head and also to the hands. And so you have to be able to use both of them in order to get it done. And, you know, in vocational education, we cover all three domains every time we teach. And so don't let anybody in the education field look down on what it is you and I do, because they just may have to worry about the cognitive side of things to be able to teach math or teach chemistry or something like that. You and I have to deal with all three on a daily basis. So don't take the back seat to anybody in education. You and I cover it all, and I think a lot of people now are starting to realize that. The sixth slide deals with how you and I are going to organize our lessons. 4 steps. Other books will have 6 steps, 5 steps. Hey, I like nice even numbers, and so this works for me. Step 1 is to motivate your students. Boy, if I had the answer to that, I could retire real quick. But you and I need to motivate them to get them ready to learn. And certainly, different things motivate different people. But when they are motivated, they are ready to learn, you and I can get some work done. Step 2, presentation. How are we going to present that lesson? Is it in a lecture format? Is it in a demonstration format? Is it an individual study? How is it going to be presented? And we can make use of whatever resources we have to get that done. I come from a generation where there were no PowerPoints. I just can't see sitting down in a class today where the instructor's not going out there and giving some kind of visual presentation. I think we could certainly all get some skills with PowerPoint or some kind of graphic presentation software, so that we can at least provide some visualization there for our students. I guess another example that I saw this past week, we have Joule that we're using with the component with the Moodle component as our course management system. I had an opportunity with McGraw-Hill to take a look at a Moodle site that they have for a textbook that I would be very interested in using. That was created by a private company for them. I guess they contracted out for it to do it. I was just blown away by all the stuff that they had there that was great content. And if I had the programming skills and the ability, I could do a whole lot more than just put PowerPoint here, a lesson, a link to a lesson, which is about all that I can do right now. Flash player animations were on this site, and it was just like, man, if I could get my hands on that stuff. But that would just make this course, I think, that much better than what I'm able to do right now. Take it to a whole different level. Well, you and I have that kind of technology. Let's use it to help present what it is we're trying to get across to our students. Step 3, application. Students need to be able to see, okay, how does this fit? I have a colleague of mine right now that's taking a college course in algebra. He doesn't see the connection with algebra to the real world. It's got nothing, his occupation needs no algebra. Basic math. And so it's hard to be able to get motivated hear a presentation on quadratic equations where you don't see a whole lot of application for something like that in the real world. But yet you and I can do something like that because we can show the students this is why you need to know trigonometry, because you may be asked to figure out how long a rafter is, or the pitch of a roof, or else the angle on a cut in the machine shop. They can see that and apply it. And then finally, the final component is evaluation. How do we test to know whether or not they know what they need to know, that we've taught what needs to be taught? And best way to do it is to evaluate that lesson every time we teach it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right here, and I have 2 more slides left, and we'll go ahead and pick up with those with part 3.